Hey people, and we're back. This lot of footage, I actually muted the audio and forgot it was muted, so there's no game sounds, but never mind, because I'm going to be talking over the top, and they were more for visuals anyway. The beautiful sounds you want to be listening to are my voice. This is my voice, singular. Plurally singular. Either way, this bit was that my last full day at Vegas. Viva Las Vegas. And if you hear the sounds of children screaming outside my window, I live quite close to a school, and it's 3 o'clock, and school has just finished. Yes, it has. So, yes, day 3. This was the day I was actually at CES, and I want to talk about a couple of things that I saw at CES. A lot of it is kind of boring. A lot of it is stuff that I find quite boring. It's stuff like drones, which I guess are kind of cool, but I sell them. If you're not actually playing with them, they're kind of dull. There's quite a lot of drones there. There was quite a lot of waterproof speakers there. There was quite a lot of portable power there. I'm not particularly interested in any of that. There were a couple of things, though. Some I got to actually try out, some I didn't. One thing I saw there was the new Steam box. Ooh. Which, if you've tried Steam on big picture mode, it's basically like that. I didn't actually get to try it out. I didn't get to see what the lag was like. I didn't get to see what the specs were. It was at an inconvenient time, and in retrospect, I wish I'd gone back and had a proper look. There was actually quite a lot of Android-based gaming systems there, which I don't really know how I feel about that, because they've failed miserably before in the past. Look at the Ouya. That never did particularly well. Either way, this hasn't stopped Razer from coming out with their own. There have been a couple of other people, some lot called Snail that I'd never heard of. Theirs actually looked kind of interesting, and they're trying to go down the open source route, but that doesn't necessarily. It's good in principle, but in reality, there are issues with going down the open source route, and the modifying routes. The specs don't seem that particularly amazing. They were apparently going to, for the Snail one, they were apparently going to compete with other consoles, which I guess they mean PS4 and PS3. No, PS4 and Xbox One. I don't know why I said PS3. So it looks like it's just going to be overpriced for something that's a bit meh. And in general, the controllers for both of them were good. They were the only two I really got to try the controllers for. But there was something about them that just, I'd rather have a 360 controller if I'm going to be using it for like PC gaming, or if I can pick up another USB controller. The 360 one's still the most preferable. I mean, GameCube is by far the best controller ever, but that's not really a USB one, although I think the Smashes they brought out, whatever. I'm talking irrelevance now. It doesn't matter. Shush. Sorry, I'm waffling and rambling and waffling a bit. What were the highlights? The highlights. USB Type-C. That is something I saw there. That seems immensely interesting, and it's probably going to bore most of you. So, yeah, sorry about that. Either way, there's going to be a new USB end. Ooh, USB Type-C. And from what I've been told, it's allegedly going to be able to power. It's going to be able to use as both like a USB lead, but also like I guess a visual monitor lead, like an HDMI lead or something like that. The closest equivalent currently is DisplayPort. It's going to be more like DisplayPort, which worries me, because everything from DisplayPort usually needs a DisplayPort to something adapter, and then whatever other cable you need. which is a bit sad, but also very true. Blah, blah, blah. What else about USB? Oh yeah, apparently it's also going to be strong enough. I was speaking to the lady behind one of the counters. She was saying, yeah, it's very interesting. We've been told that it's going to be powerful enough to take the power from your PC to power a monitor, or vice versa. Which to me is just ringing red bells of alarm, because what I know about computers, that suggests no, definitely not a gaming PC powered from a monitor, unless your monitor's sort of like 1,000 watts or something like that, which is stupid and silly to even suggest such a thing. I don't know why I did. But that'll be interesting to see how it happens, what turns out from that. I hope that there is going to be at least something good from that. I'm imagining they will possibly be used for monitors. Apparently they also want to standardize them for cameras and phones and everything. Probably anything that's not Apple. So you're going to have, is this an Apple? Yes. Or is it new? Yes. Is it Apple? It's this one. Is it Apple? No, it's this one. Which, you know, could be good. Although I heard these rumours about European rulings forcing Apple to do standardised connections, so maybe, who knows. I'd definitely rather have USB than whatever Apple's stupid connection is, because, yeah. It's also going to be a lot faster. Well, it's also reversible. Oh yes, it stops being fourth dimensional. USB Type-C, you can put it in either way and it's going to be fine, and it's still got the structural support. I've seen a couple of just regular USB things be reversible, but they've not got like the outer shell on, and they seem a little loose always, but nah, whatever. What else was there? What was there? There actually wasn't that much interesting. Let me rephrase. There isn't that much that I think people watching this video will find interesting. Oh, actually, no, lies. I'm lying again. Razer is releasing a virtual reality headset, which I tried out, and it was terrible because it was using a leap motion to play the game with. It's kind of hard to say whether it's better than the Oculus Rift, which I tried out in Insomnia, because in Insomnia it was riding a roller coaster and you could look around. This was several months later, so it's hard to sort of compare, like, visually, the two of them. This was a game where you had to fire things, and the only part of it that was broken was definitely the controls. So, yeah. The largest part of it that was broken was the controls. So I don't know if that'll actually be any good. We'll have to wait and see. I think it's good. I think the thing that's going to kill virtual reality is going to be the lack of support. Like, the virtual reality thing, Razer's virtual reality is going to be released open source. I have a feeling, though, that the thing that's and also Microsoft, as we both know, we all should know, is releasing something as well. Which, again, I didn't get to see that on there. I don't know. Maybe it's going to be good, maybe it's going to be bad. Who knows? What else did I see that was interesting? I don't know. No, I think that was about it. A couple of cool robots. A robot that's going to put me out of business because it's basically, or make me unemployed because it's basically a shop floor salesman robot. It's fine though if you work in retail. No need to worry. It doesn't have arms. It can't work at the cash register. So yeah, go people who want to pay in cash still. Yeah. I don't know. There doesn't seem to be massive amounts of technology that's really sort of going, oh my god, to me at this thing. There was USB 3, there was the virtual reality stuff, and there was a couple of the couple of game console things that are coming out, but it's kind of just a more polished version of things we've already seen a lot of the time, with the exception of USB Type-C, which again is only a connection type. There's only so much excitement that I can really have for that. So I was going to go into real depth in what I saw at CES, but it's kind of not that much of interest. So that was basically how I spent most of the day, wandering around going, why am I interested in this? Whee! Sploosh. Yes. Did the thing. So the rest of the day, I guess in this video is going to be quite a bit shorter than the last one. Rest of the day. In the afternoon, we went to a manager's, a supplier's dinner, which was sad because I wanted to go to a show, but we didn't get to do that. We did, though, go to a steakhouse with these suppliers. And I kept my comments about their game console not feeling very nice on the shoulder buttons. They'd given us a portable game console, and I tried it out very briefly and felt the buttons, and the shoulder buttons were just horrid. The rest of it was fine. The shoulder buttons, no. Either way, we went to a steakhouse, and I'd been wanting a steak the entire time we were in America, because it's America, you know. It's like what you do. And if you're wondering why I'm using my axe, by the way, it has silk touch. So it was the case where I was going to have. What the fuck am I on about? I'm getting distracted by breaking blocks. It's not the act of breaking blocks. I think it's watching blocks being broken that distracts me. Yes, America. Drinks. Yes. Oh, yes. Okay, so I had some beer there. It was very nice. We went to our meal, and everyone else moved to wine. I'm not really a wine person. I don't do wine very well. Me and wine don't really mix. I enjoy it occasionally, but I'd rather have stuck to beer, so I did. I stuck to beer. And oh god, it takes you a long time in America to give someone a second drink. Seriously, I mean, like, it was at the point. The restaurant wasn't overly busy, and it was to the point where I was considering asking again whether I could get another beer because it had taken that long, right? And then eventually, and just as the way it sort of came over, I was going to ask, he actually had my beer in hand. But it takes a long time. In Britain, it's like, if you want another beer, they get it to you as soon as possible. They want you drunk and making as poor a choice as possible, as fast as possible, so you spend a lot of money, which is good business sense. And also keeps me happy and pissed. Beautiful. So, that's beside the point. Well, the thing I ordered, I mean, most of the talks we had there were about work, and it was kind of dull. But the thing I ordered for my main thing was a sirloin steak. It was one of the smaller ones there at 14 ounces, which is a lot. In Britain, you're lucky if the larger steaks are usually about 8 ounces. And oh god, and of course I had some chips as sides, or fries as you call them, because I think we did a few shared sides, one of which was chips, one of which was some vegetables of some sort. I can't remember what exactly, but I had a bit of all the sides, and I did finish my 14-ounce steak. I was again one of few to finish, but I'm glad I did. Because I don't know. There's almost a pride in my family of finishing your food. I don't like wasting food. It feels wasteful. Probably why I've grown quite a bit of a belly. But on the flip side of that, yeah, I also break into some redstone here, and I had to fix it by stopping it from being flooded with ladders. Huzzah! Everyone loves a ladder. What did we do after that? Yeah, we actually stayed in that meeting thing for quite a while. I say the meeting thing, in the room where the stuff was happening for quite a while, with the investors, stockholders, I'm not sure what they're called. The people, the suppliers, that's the word. Suppliers, yes. And after that, we didn't really have... I was leaving the next morning, so I didn't want to... And I knew I had to get up kind of early. I didn't want to stay up too late. It was a bit late to try and go to a show, so we decided to do some more gambling, and we went to a place that was just labelled casino, and I think that was somewhere Jesse suggested we go. But yes, I think she made a good choice. I don't know how to explain this, but this casino was different from the last casino. There was like a central stage that around it had a lot of gambling dens, gambling tables for various types of gambling. And in the middle, there was a lady who was rather... how do we say this? Naked. She was rather naked. She had pretty much just fairly see-through panties and bra on, and yeah, it was quite a nice place. I very much enjoyed myself, and all these tables had it so that the dealer's back was to the scantily clad lady, who was dancing a little bit just on the stage, basically being there to entertain anyone who happened to be gambling that day. Yeah, no, it was great. I don't remember much else about the place. I know I didn't win much money. I did play a little bit on the slotties just so... Or did I? Was that even that night, or was that the night before? I can't remember. That was somewhere else. I know I didn't come home particularly rich that day. I didn't lose loads. I think I was down about $5 all in all. You could argue because there were other distractions there, or you could argue something completely different entirely. Either way, I didn't win much, if any. I didn't win any money. I didn't win money. I was poorer. I lost $4 or $5. So not terrible. It's not like I left Vegas being the poorest bust in the world. And although also the waitresses there were far more scantily clad than they had been in Caesar's Palace. Ooh, yes. No, that was a nicer casino to be in. The atmosphere was a lot sexier. There were less old people on slot machines. It was definitely a better place to be. In my opinion. People can disagree. But they're wrong. I'm right. It was great. And that pretty much sums up most of my time in Vegas, because after that I was kind of tired. I went back to the hotel room, and the next day I just left for the airport and went through security fairly... Oh no, there's one last story actually. I was changing over in Chicago on the way back, and I may have even told this in another part, I can't remember. I lose track of what I've said and what I haven't. And America, you You try, bless you, but you're a bit useless sometimes. You still use Fahrenheit, and I'm not used to Fahrenheit. So when they gave the warning entering Chicago of it's about -1 degrees outside, dress appropriately, I was thinking, this jacket's probably fine considering I'm just going across the strip to the inside of the airport. It's just below freezing point of water. That's probably fine. It was quite a nasty shock when I suddenly stepped off the plane and realised that the actual temperature was more like -18 degrees or -1 Fahrenheit. Ooh, that was not fun. That was not fun at all. Apart from that, though, yeah, fairly simple flight. Picked up from the airport by my dad at the other end, who was actually late because of trains. My international aircraft was actually early by half an hour. The trains in London were delayed by about half an hour. But actually, once I got through security, I wasn't waiting too long, and I was glad to stand and have a bit of a leg stretch before going back onto the tubes. So it all worked out in the end. Huzzah. Yay. So I want to... This episode is now 20 minutes, and I'm not sure whether to extend this into the same episode or start it in a new one. So... If you look down at the YouTube thing and you see that it's very close to the end, thank you very much for watching. I'll see you next time. And if it's still got ages to go, we'll continue from now. So, potentially hey people again, or potentially continuing on. Well, no, actually either way continuing on. Potentially hey people, potentially not. So I've told you about my trip to America now, but I wanted to just do one last little bit about sort of a wrap up of how I felt about America, if that makes sense. My feelings, because before I went to America, people had asked me before, do you particularly want to go to America? And my answer had always been, well, no, not really. I have no need to go. I don't particularly care to go. Then I started doing YouTube, and my view changed somewhat from I don't particularly care to, well, it would be nice to see people who I now know in America. And my answer sort of changed to I have no particular urge to go, but if I was to get a free trip to go, or if I was to or if it was to see friends, then I would definitely go. Now that I've been to America, and I know, it's very different from Las Vegas to the rest of the place. Las Vegas isn't an accurate representation of America. Blah, 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 blah. I loved Las Vegas. I don't care if you hate me for loving Las Vegas. I know a couple of people, including people on the planes, gave me a sort of distasteful look when I said that I had loved Las Vegas. It was some mother, but and she was American but lived in Britain, and she didn't seem to understand why I loved Las Vegas so much, which I can kind of see. If you've never been there, I can kind of see why you wouldn't understand. Having been there, I can understand why you may not like it, but I can't understand why you wouldn't understand why other people like it. Though I appreciate it isn't to everyone's taste. That is probably one of the most confusing sentences I've ever said, but oh well. So yes, having been to Las Vegas, I definitely want to go again. This time for a little bit longer than just like 2 or 3 nights. And yeah, maybe with some people I actually know would be a bit more fun, rather than just with people from a different part of my work, which, although were fun people to be with, I didn't know them at all, which was a shame, because, I mean, we hung out a bit, but I would have rather have gone with friends. I think that's a fair thing to say. I'd have rather have been with friends. I think I would have enjoyed it a little bit more if we had been with friends. Or if I had been with friends. Actually, having said that, a lot of the people... I think if I'd just been there longer with those people, I'd have possibly enjoyed it more than going with friends, because I wouldn't have minded going to a shooting range. I kind of wanted to go to a shooting range just to see what it's like. I can't imagine many of my friends actually wanting to go to a shooting range. A couple of them maybe, but the majority of them probably not. And I think the shows would have probably been easier to convince them at. Maybe not a sexy show. Some of them maybe. But, meh, who knows. I'm not sure. I should talk to people I know. I highly doubt Sparks would have wanted to go to a sexy show. I could be completely wrong. I could be talking out my ass right now. But I can't imagine Sparks shooting a gun. I can't imagine Sparks even holding a gun. And while I don't agree with America's current gun laws, because I think that they are just dangerous. I don't object to people having guns. It's just, don't give them to people on the fucking terrorist watch lists. Stupid America. Anyway, we're getting off topic here. We're getting off topic. Anyway, my point is, if I was to go to America again, I'd much rather go with friends. And secondly, what was the second part? Secondly, I also kind of want to see other parts of America now. Before, I'd never really cared. But now I do kind of want to see America quite a bit more. Or quite a bit more of America, I should say. America is a strange place, because on the one hand, it is based on sort of freedom and opportunity, and on the other hand, it's built on oppression and slavery. It's kind of this weird oxymoronic land, or has an oxymoronic base. Obviously, things have changed in the last couple of 100 years, and America continues to develop day by day. But in general, it is based on the sort of killing of the Native Americans, and also the sort of freedom from people who are sick of largely European way of life and starting afresh and starting anew. So it's a weird contrast. And I don't think America as a country has really come to terms with that, and I think that does in some ways hold it back. But that's, I think, getting a little deep for an internet video that is mostly aimed at sort of humour or largely aimed at humour and I guess the odd ranting and my personal life occasionally. And even that's largely the humorous part of my personal life. I mean, this is a Minecraft video. We don't need to go into political America. So, yeah, they're there. I hope one day I will be able to he says as he swigs tea, I hope one day I will be able to see some more of America. And I hope that I will get to go back and explore more states. But for now, I'm happy with what I've done. I hope I get to do it again. And if anyone out there wants to pay me to go to America, all expenses paid, I will happily make fun of your company for you. And I mean that from the bottom of my heart. I'll make a penis joke out of it. Promise. Yeah, other than that, I think I'm pretty much done. This video looks like it was only long enough for one part, so we're only going to make it one part. And thank you very much for watching. I will see you guys next time. Bye-bye.